like. Every day, they trample on a new constitutional rights and take away due process and habeas corpus and ship people to a slave labor camp in El Salvador. How the fuck is this just happening? And, like, seemingly everybody else is acting like this is normal. Well, it's not. And you're not the only one who sees it. Okay, so here we go. This one's from More Perfect Union. Let's see their video on it. Sign here that says, tax the rich, hands off our jobs. Let's go. That's a lot of people.
We also need Social Security. Hands off our Social Security. Hands up! Hands up! Hands up! Hands
up! Look at that crowd. This one, I think, is in Montana. There was a big protest in Montana. No Project 2025 on one sign, no oligarchy on this sign. The power of the people is greater than the people in power. All right, we're just getting warmed up. Let me show you some more pictures. Here we go. See this one here. This one's obviously Florida. Hands off democracy, Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid. Hands off our bodies. Huge protest, like they said, 100,000 in Washington, D.C. This one, I don't know where this is, but the weather ain't fucking good, and there's a lot of people there. All right, more pictures. This is Portland, Oregon. Bro, look at that picture. That's people as far as the eye can see. More. Huge crowd gathered in Austin, Texas. Here we go. Sign says, Free Luigi. Doge, dangerous oligarchs gutting everything. These are what the signs say. Palestinian flag. Let's go. More. Here's a rally in Hartford, Connecticut. Nobody's thinking about Hartford. Nobody's thinking about fucking Hartford. And then boom, look at this. Look how many people showed out in Hartford, Connecticut. All right, here we go. This one was Bozeman, Montana. Hands off protest. So many people, man. That's like the whole population of Montana showed up in that bitch. All right, more. Here's one from D.C. Thousands march on ICE. In D.C., ICE are effectively the Gestapo of the Trump regime. Look at this. Palestinian flags all over the place. All over the place. By the way, here's another thing I love. At the same time, look at this. There's so many people. At the same time, you have all the hands-off protests against Trump and Musk. At the same time, there was an anti-genocide protest going on in Washington, D.C. as well. All the protests had massive numbers of people. And the fact that you had both these protests going on the same day, and you look at the hands-off protests, and there's a lot of Palestinian flags and hands-off Gaza signs. It's all coming together. Everybody's waking up. They're realizing all of these issues are linked. It is a linked issue to say, you can't destroy the social safety net in America and plunge everybody into poverty. And also, oh yeah, by the way, stop carpet bombing innocent babies with our money and our weapons in Gaza. And everybody is on the same side. And we're all fighting for the right thing here. All right, here we have some signs. You can't spell hatred without red hat. We talked about this the other day in our breaking news segment, but I wanted to show you the sign. Elon can oligargle my nuts. As Crystal said, that sounds like one that I made. Tax the rich, not the penguins. That's a reference to the tariffs on the Heard and McDonald Islands, which are completely uninhabited. Make the asshole go away. Make America broke again. That's what Trump wants to do. Honk if you never drunk texted war plans. That's about Pete Hegseth, obviously. The Third Reich. Does this ass make my country look smaller? And it's a picture of Trump. And then here we have dog tick, deer tick, lunatic, know your parasites. And of course, the picture by lunatic is of Trump. I'm still not done. This was Boston. More than 1,200 people in Boston. Look at this. People as far as the eye can see. Don't give in to hatred, this sign says. So I'm going to get, in just a second, Hasan Piker gave a speech at the anti-genocide rally, and he absolutely knocked it out of the park. So I'm going to show you that. Here's a sign that says, they're eating the checks, they're eating the balances. It's a reference to Trump saying in the debate, they're eating the cats, they're eating the dogs. Here we go. Look at this crowd.
Here's a live look at Boston, Massachusetts.
Boston, Massachusetts. Again, people everywhere.
Now, as we check back in on one of our top stories, anti-Trump protests taking place across the country today after a tumultuous week, to say the least.
Something's happening, man. People are waking up. They are absolutely waking up. Here's New York City with, like they said, it stretched 20 blocks. 20 blocks this thing stretched, man. There's a bird's eye view video showing just how big the protest is. Pittsburgh. Look at Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh in the house. Again, people as far as the eye can see. So many people. MAGA. Morons are governing America. Hands off our democracy. Hands off our democracy here as well. And I can't really quite make out some of these in the background. All right, more. We already saw this one. This is Boston. This is downtown Chicago. You can see how many people are there. A lot of people had this sign, and again, this is evidence of the mass awakening. The only minority destroying this country are the billionaires. That is exactly right. In the same way MAGA has their story that they sold to the American public, the problem are the immigrants, the problem are the trans people, they're the problem, they're why your life sucks. They sold that story, they sold that narrative with everything they had. Well, guess what? We need to have a counter-narrative. Democrats rarely have a counter-narrative. But the narrative is right there, and it's so obvious for everybody to see now because it's happening right in front of our faces. The billionaires are the problem. It's the robber barons. It's the oligarchs. They've captured our government. They are destroying the social safety net to give themselves more tax cuts and more corporate welfare and subsidies. And people are waking up to that. I like this one too. But it was the Gulf of Mexico at birth. In other words, flipping the anti-trans arguments against the right, saying, you guys want to call it the Gulf of America, but it was the Gulf of Mexico at birth. And you say all that matters is what happens at birth, right, bro? All right. Here we have Maxwell Frost gave a speech. I think this one is in D.C. Here we go.
They're the ones that are screwing us over on the jobs. They tell us that trans people are a threat to our children, but they're the ones dismantling public education. They're the ones denying the climate crisis. They're the ones poisoning our planet. They're the ones doing nothing about the national public health emergency of gun violence. And they want us to believe that they're the patriots of free speech. But they're the ones kidnapping and disappearing college students across this country that are just fighting for peace to ensure that innocent people don't die.
Maxwell Frost, friend of the show, been on Crystal Kyle and Friends, really been leading a lot in this moment. Phenomenal speech here. He has been highlighting the exact argument that we say Democrats have to make, which is the problem's not the trans people, it's not the immigrants, they're our brothers, they're our sisters, they're in the same boat as us. The problem are the billionaires. All right, more. So I showed you the sign already, but I want you to look closely here at this sign. What do you notice? Look at the whole picture, not just the sign. It's the Know Your Parasites, dog tick, deer tick, lunatic. In the background, you see Nazi, right? Are they referencing Trump? Are they referencing Elon? Are they referencing both? Not sure. Probably both, but you see only the bottom of the sign here. This looks to me, now maybe I'm wrong, but it looks to me like a standard resistance liberal wine mom who shows up to this event holding this sign. What does her hat say? Deny, defend, depose. That's what was written on the casing that Luigi Mangione used. So we've seen a few free Luigi posters and people wearing deny, defend, depose hats. I remember when I first came out and said, hey guys, understand something? The resistance liberals are all waking up. They're all going, hold on now. What the fuck? Like, Trump is a threat to democracy, a threat to our country. He's a fascist. He's a liar. He's an extremist. Why aren't you resisting anymore? Right? And what happened? They looked around and they said, oh, I see who's resisting. It's Bernie Sanders. It's AOC. It's the left flank. I'm with them now. So people who in the 2016 turf wars may have sided with Hillary Clinton over Bernie Sanders, right? Now they're like, look, call it what it is. The centrists did not put up the best fight against MAGA and the far right and the rise of fascism and the robber barons. It's the Bernies of the world. It's the leftists. So you're seeing resistance liberals, run-of-the-mill resistance liberals, wake up and go, oh, the problem is the fucking billionaires. We have to fight fascism. Who's fighting? Well, the left is fighting. I'm with them. And so now you see them Luigi posting on a daily fucking basis. All right, and finally, here is